And welcome in Saturday Morning Coaches Show. We lead it off today with Andy Dorrel, the head coach at CMA, and saw your score better than last week, but I imagine it's going to be another one of those that you kind of are at the end of the year going to wish you had back.
Yeah, no doubt about that. We played much better on defense and began to move the ball consistently in the second half, really the fourth quarter. But the bottom line is that we just still some tough mistakes that a young team's going to make until they kind of one of those mistakes that you don't really learn it until you do it. And we hope it settles in so we can get better next week.
Let's start with what you got better at this week. I mean, taking a look at it, you have. I don't know if you looked at film yet or not, but I'm sure you have a feel of what you felt you did get better at this week.
Yeah, so we moved some personnel around, and we moved Andrew King into inside linebacker, and he did a great job for us. Had about 10 tackles, 2 assists, and really what our defensive line was more consistent up front, and did a better job of controlling the line of scrimmage, and really felt defensively that we made some strides. Now, we gave Marion a short field a couple times, so that made it difficult on our defense, but. I felt defensively did it better. We did a much better job on special teams. Punting game was very solid this week. We had one miscue there, but otherwise felt that was a real improvement from week one. Offensively, we ran the ball with some consistency. It wasn't until later in the game, once the offensive line finally started to get off the ball a little bit better. But this is one of those teams that we're going to continue to get better week after week if we stay committed to the plan and the process. And we saw that progress last night.
Do you feel you got better? I mean, obviously, you feel you got better defensively with just that personnel move. I mean, you feel like you're starting to address those questions.
Yeah, that's one thing that's tough for us. We don't really know what our personnel is capable of until they get it here in August. And the first 2-3 weeks, we're moving people around, trying to figure out what the best combination of kids are that they're going to play hard, that are going to be great teammates. And we're starting to, get a better handle on our kids. I think there's still some more changes to be made, but we're working at it, creating some good competition and practice, particularly along our defensive line, which is elevating our play.
And I know Marion presents a lot of problems too. I mean, what were they doing that you're having the most trouble with?
They really did a nice job of completing some short passes out in the flats, and right in that second area, 8 to 15 yards in front of our safeties, behind our linebackers. I thought was an area that we're going to have to address. They did a nice job of kicking out our ends in the first half, but like I said, we played much better in the second half with that, and it's overall Marion played a solid game. They only really forced one turnover, which we needed a couple more. But overall, I felt like they just executed a little better than we did. And we ran out of time. I mean, we were really pressing at the end, and did a nice job to get 2 scores. And then, an onside kick that I thought went our way. But unfortunately, other people didn't see it that way. But regardless, I just want to have a chance to be successful and have a chance for the win in the end. And that's what our kids did on Friday.
It sounds like one of those games. I was just thinking, with the way we open, it's going to be one of those you're going to wish you had back at the end of the year. I mean, how was the team afterwards? You feel good about where you're going to head this week in practice?
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's a new opportunity, new team, and I felt the kids they weren't as distraught after the game as they were last week, and I think it's because they're starting to realize that this is a tough game to play. I think last week they kind of thought they'd roll in and have success, and got humbled really quickly, hurt their pride. This week they knew they battled, they competed. Mary made a few more plays than we did and deserved to win, but overall, I think our kids represented themselves a lot better. They feel better about the performance and the progress that we made from week one to week two. We were positive after the game with them, and a lot of good things to learn on film. I have watched quite a bit of film, actually, and I've got 3 pages, 4 pages of notes here I'm looking at right now that we're going to get better at before next week. So we can get through page 1 this morning, and we'll continue to work on pages 2, 3, and 4 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Every coach I know, that's the first thing they do. They go home and they get the film out and spend the night perusing it. What's on the top of that list to get better at?
Well, I haven't even talked to the assistant coaches yet. I don't know how many pages they have, but um, it continued to be solid up front defensively. We made some progress, but I think we can get better there. Believe it or not, we had a very talented group last year, but I think this defense might be a little bit further along than we were last year. I guess we got some nice pieces out there that we like. We're doing some good things, and we're certainly going to get a big test this week against Knox and their rushing game, their rushing attack. But we're looking forward to that challenge. Continue to just secure blocks and finish blocks. Offensively, we're starting to get to the right positions, the right places where we want to be, but we're just not dictating the line of scrimmage the way we need to. And once we get that, continue to progress and make growth there, I feel like our offense will be able to consistently move the football.
How do you feel about your skill guys on offense? Because I know you
Yeah,
had
I
a lot
mean,
of new faces there.
we did. Jack Chaney had a couple big passes, receptions last night. Ainsley Ritchie had a 62-yard touchdown run. Jack Standfast ran the ball very consistently for us between the tackles. A few miscues by our quarterback, trying to make a play that probably would have been better off just taking a sack or throwing the ball out of bounds. So those are things that are going to come with experience, we got a I made a mistake last night with one of our split ends receivers that was pretty crucial. And I look back and he's played about 25 varsity snaps. So we got to be patient with this group. And I think there's a lot of things to be optimistic about. And our coaches are positive with them. And we're going to continue to improve.
Yeah, there is absolutely no substitute for actual varsity game action until you have that under your belt. You're still just a little behind it.
Yep, absolutely, and that's all right. I mean, we know that it's a long season, and we can just keep these guys working hard and working for each other, believing in each other. I think we're going to be an opportunity to have some success moving forward.
Well, you mentioned moving forward a little bit, Knox, and they had a guy had a decent night last night. I don't know if you heard about Miles McLaughlin going for over 400 yards, but that's a season for most people, and he's a force. You got to deal with him next week.
Yeah, he does such a nice job of hitting the line, hitting his hole, or cutting back. I think that's probably what makes him such a talented back is his vision and ability to understand the blocking schemes and where those cutbacks might appear and how to hit them. And he's certainly a very talented player, and we're looking forward to his challenge next week of playing against him. And we can't underestimate, though. I mean, it's more than one guy. I mean,
Yep.
he uses his teammates very well, and they understand what their responsibilities and roles are. And obviously, those guys are well coached. And we're going over on the road again to their place, so it's going to be a tough test, but one that I think our kids are going to be really geeked up about.
What kind of things do you do I mean, you're not going to actually probably stop him, but how do you minimize him defensively? What kind of things can you do?
You just got to be sound on defense. Like I said, you got to make sure that you got your overflat players, you got your cutback players, you got your point of attack, and you can't get driven off the ball. You got to make sure that you require a double team and close down hard on the edges, and linebackers flow well over the top. But your safeties and your backside players have really got to be in the game and making sure they're filling those cutback angles and make them drive the field. I think he scored on the first play on the last 2 weeks, first play of the game. And we cannot allow them to have those long plays. So if we can limit his carries, to 2 yards, to 4 yards, to 7 yards, to, no gain, just make them work and force him to earn every yard is going to be, what I think is the only way you're going to be able to slow him down is you can't let him rip off those 25, 40-yard runs because those are just backbreakers.
And,
knowing that he can score every time
Russ,
he touches the ball is a real threat.
Russ does a real good job with his offensive line always, too. They're always very good at working as a unit.
Yeah, I mean they overload sides. They get multiple pullers at the point of attack. They do a really good job of creating seams for their running back. And again, like I said, he's got such great vision and he's able to take advantage of that.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time this morning. I'll let you get back to your lists, and we'll talk to you later in the week about next week.
All right. Thanks, Rusty. Be well.
You too. That's Andy Dorrel, the head coach at Culver Academy, and we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Back here on the Saturday Morning Coaches Show here on Max 98.3. Austin Foust, the head coach at Culver, joins me. And West Central got the win last night. I'm sure there were some things that you saw that you liked, though. I mean, you got a young team, and they continue to develop.
Based on what they had kind of shown, how they defended this formation, and our kids executed it, and we threw a touchdown pass, Jonas McEwen to Braylon Jackson, got on the board, up 6-0, and other than that, really offensively, that was kind of the real bright spots. Defensively, we just couldn't tackle. That was the disappointing part because I thought we tackled really well against Attica. I know Coach Zahner was saying it and told the guys on the sidelines kind of in the first quarter that we've never been a part of a game where we've had so many hits in the backfield, just not had a negative play. We just weren't breaking down and tackling, and credit some of that in West Central. They got 2 really good runners. Their quarterback, only a sophomore, is a good, tough kid, and their fullback, big kid that runs really hard. And, those are the things that was a little frustrating just from the tackling part. And, what option football does is make you play discipline and read your keys. And, I think some of our inexperience of, guys playing football and being in that situation and having, playing against option and seeing different things, we just didn't read our keys last night. And that kind of hurt us in the first half. And, one thing I do, as you kind of reflect as you're, coming home and it's after midnight and everybody in your house is asleep and you're reflecting on the game, there's some things that, we kind of scrapped a lot of what we did, made some adjustments in the second half, and our kids executed that. We only gave up 1 touchdown in the second half. And, so those are things that, I think our bright spots is our kids were able to, come out in the second half, play with energy, change how we kind of do things. So those are things that we can build on.
That's got to make you feel good because the simple fact of the matter is not a lot of teams can make those adjustments and come out and get better. And the fact that they were able to, absorb what you were trying to tell them and then go out and do it, it bodes good for the future.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing, especially at the 1A level, where we are, it's hard to make adjustments, because you don't have guys on the sidelines coming off. I mean, right now, I think we go from offense to defense and maybe 1 or 2 guys come out. So a lot of our kids are playing a lot of the time. So, halftime's a real chance to kind of change things. And, our kids are, just got really good kids. That's the thing that it makes it so fun coaching here with these kids is, they're really good young men. They're respectable. They work hard, and, they were totally fine with changing things up. There were some guys we went with, and it wasn't a thing where it was, maybe playing bad. It was just, hey, this guy gives us a better spot where we want to put him here. And, again, everybody was good with it. And again, that's the thing that we can build on. I thought we had some kids that kind of matured and grew up throughout the game too. So, those are one of those things you look back and, not only as a football coach trying to develop athletes, but develop young men that you're proud of. I thought, Drake Zorich, a junior linebacker for us, keeps, so far, first 2 games, I feel like he keeps getting better for us. And that's a kid that, I'm extremely proud and happy for because, he's put a lot of time in and put a lot of work and effort in, and it's paying off for him. And he's got a lot of good leadership capabilities. And there were some things last night that he did for us that, again, I think, it's only going to continue making us better as we go through.
Watching young kids develop, that's one of the most rewarding things of coaching, isn't it?
It is. I know it's easy to get hung up with the scoreboard and things like that. And that's one of those things that obviously, you're going in each week not wanting to lose a ball game, but there's sometimes too, there's big pictures, and what the bigger picture are and what we want these kids to, be as they're going through high school and after high school. And again, there's some guys that, if things happened this way, last year, how they handled it this year probably wouldn't be the same way, let alone, I don't know if they would have, stuck it out, kept playing, things like that. And those are the things that, you gotta, you gotta be really proud for, that growth that we've kind of talked about, because again, not only do we want, our kids, football abilities to grow, you want that too with how they are as people.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about that. I mean, when you see a guy put that work in, and then it works out for him, it makes you feel good.
Yeah, it does. Again, the kid like Drake Zorich, just a really, really good kid. He's a kid that, even from his freshman year, has shown leadership abilities and, wanted to work hard and wanted it bad. And, because of where we were numbers wise, he kind of get thrown in there as a freshman, probably way too early for him. But, he was excited and, ended up breaking his collarbone about midway through the year. And was out, his freshman year, and then sophomore year coming back from that, had a good year. But probably should have been a JV kid, if he was at other places where he had a little bit bigger numbers. And he's come out, with his junior year. I mean, he's had you're really from the scrimmage to Attica to West Central. He's a guy that just keeps getting better, making plays, making impact plays for us. Offensively, he's our center. We do some things where, because of his athleticism ability, we're able to pull him, which is kind of unique in high school football a little bit. You don't see many centers that pull. And when he's pulling around there, I mean, he's trying to run down corners and DBs to go after them and block them. And, he's fun to watch.
You got a team, I think, that has to be fun to watch. Last night, you're facing a team in West Central's got a lot of veteran guys, and talking about younger guys for you, they run that option, and that becomes especially for a player who hasn't seen it over and over again, that's a completely different animal. And when you got seniors running it against you, it becomes even another little advantage their way. And to weather that and make those adjustments has got to make you guys feel good about the future.
Yeah, it does. And, we're going to see some more option teams, and Judson is option and North Miami and things, so it prepares us for it. For obviously the conference season, it's just one of those things where again, playing Attica put the ball in the air, so everybody knew where the ball was. Our DBs and safeties are able to react to it, and then last night you got to read you got to read a guy. You got to read your key. If this guy does this, this is where we need you to come down and fit. If he does this, we need you to come down and fit. The problem that option football presents for you is, 14, 18-year-old kids, they want to find the ball. They want to watch the ball. And we got caught kind of ball watching, and they took advantage on their little counterplay, misdirection, and that kind of hurt us really. That was kind of maybe the big difference maker in the first half was we couldn't stop counter, and then on like a fourth and 15, kind of 4th and 17, something along there, they just kind of threw up a Hail Mary and 50-50 ball, and their kid made a play and came down with it, and got a first down. I think it was inside the 5-yard line for one of their other scores. So just those things, we've kind of talked about it. It really comes down to just who's going to make plays. And, credit to Coach Hall and West Central. They made more plays than we did last night.
What are the coaching points for this week? What are the things you have to get better at before you face Triton?
Yeah, we're going to have to come back. Tackling, just working the fundamental stuff of getting, into good tackle positions and in phase. We were reaching too much last night instead of putting a shoulder pad into a guy's thigh and wrapping their legs. And, we're just kind of reaching and grabbing. So we're going to have to really work that. We're going to just continue to reading keys and being disciplined. Triton's, you're going to run a similar offense, kind of like we do. So there's going to be some things that similarities for our kids that they've seen, obviously all summer and all practice so far. But Triton's got good speed. They got good athletes. So, we're going to have to be able to work on that, and try to get better at kind of defending speed and, just making plays, just giving guys confidence to where they, feel like they can make plays and put them in good position so they can make plays.
Other than the adjustments and the fact that you made them so easily last night, what other things last night did you see that really made you happy, that you thought you're really moving in the right direction?
I just think our energy that we played in the second half. I thought our kids came out with a good attitude about them. I think even after the game, I think they have a good attitude about them. I don't not sitting here, Saturday morning worried about if we lost a team or not lost a team or anything like that. I think, those kids are bought in and, they want to get better and we'll get better. We have our first JV game here in about 2 hours or so at Caston. And, after we're done talking, we have a varsity player, a bunch of guys say, "Hey, coach, can we go to the JV game? Can we ride on the bus?" Things like that, and that's something just from a team standpoint, from a program that's just, just huge because it's very easy, obviously, when you have, a varsity team and a JV team to, an us versus them, we're the varsity guys. We're not going to, cheer on the younger guys. And, that's not the case. The guys are, they were talking on the way home. I think they got one of somebody's mom's minivan. I think they're taking to the game this morning. So just that kind of thing where, it's hard not to like this bunch because we got a real likable bunch and they all like each other and they're there for each other. So those are the kind of things, just from that culture standpoint that we're building. I think those are the things that, maybe it's hard to see for, outside eyes, but, when you're in it with these guys every single day, there's a lot of good things that are being built. And if we can continue building those things and making it our foundation, I think there's going to be some good things for years to come.
I got to agree with you, and that's the one thing, too. You just made a statement that hit with me. Unless you're at practice every day and you see those kids in the halls every day, you don't really know fully what's going on with the team. And I'm glad you said that. I'm interested you said that because I've always felt that.
Yeah, with this coaching staff and kids, a lot of times you spend more time with them than, your family sometime when the season gets going and, you don't see what goes on every single day. And, you're dealing with 18-year-old kids and there's things, maybe that's going on in their life or going on at school that, you think maybe is a small thing, but to them, is a huge deal. So you're trying to, guide them through those kind of things. And, we just got a really good group of kids that just, you want to be around. There's one of those things where so far we haven't really had a bad practice, and it's really just because our kids are are just so likable. They understand. They may have a bad segment, they may have a bad session, but you can kind of talk to them like, hey, that wasn't very good. Go get a drink of water, and we got to fix it. And there's guys that are leading the way, trying to make sure we fix it. So those are the fun things and the fun moments about coaching, because you're only guaranteed 10 games, but obviously you get about 50 practices and things, so that's where you're spending the bulk of the time with your team.
Talk a little bit about Triton. You already had a little bit. They had a really big win for them last night. Got Bremen, and the one thing you notice, at least from the outside, from a fan perspective like me, is their speed on offense.
Yeah, I think I sent in our coach's text watching a little bit of Bremen Triton that I said, man, watching Triton's offense, it looks like they sped up the tape on us, because it looked really fast. They got some speed. Their quarterback and their running back. They got nice receivers. So yeah, they're doing some good things. They got a big win against Bremen. I think I saw something where it was the first time in a long time that they beat Bremen at home. So that's a big victory for them, and they're going to be feeling good. And it's obviously big for Coach Baker. Get a first win and a big win like that. I mean, that's going to bring a confident ball club to our place on Friday. So the biggest thing we're going to have to continue to do is defensively, again, being able to tackle. Offensively, we got to be able to move the ball, not shoot ourselves in the foot, and kind of sustain a run game. We didn't do a very good job of getting a run game going last night to kind of help out our passing game. So we're going to have our work cut out for us this week. Obviously, you got Labor Day, so we're going to come in Monday, get a practice, try to keep everything as normal as possible for our guys. But we're just excited to get finally a home game at Culver, and hopefully we can come out with a W this week against the Triton Trojans.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time to talk with us this morning. This is a warning. You're going to see a lot more of me this week than you want to, because we're going to be over there on Friday. So I'll be bugging you during the week to get over to practice at least once. So just a heads up, the old fat guy is going to be roaming around over there.
All right, sounds good. We'll look for you. Yep, whatever you need. We're excited to have you out, Rusty.
Austin Foust, the head coach at Culver, and stay there. We got Adam Handley coming up next.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big B coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop, where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour, with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
And we're back, Max 98.3, Saturday morning coaches show. And with us in this segment is Adam Handley, the head coach of the Plymouth Rockies. Long drive last night over there, no longer drive home, I'm sure. Columbia City comes away with that win, but once again, that's one of the better teams around here.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think we knew they were going to be a good team, but we also made them look a lot better than they were. We didn't really play to the caliber I know we can, and that's frustrating as a coach and the coaching staff. That we just didn't show up at 7:00, and then that's kind of what we've been harping on. Obviously, with all the extra stuff going on this week here, and distractions and things like that. We challenge them like, hey, you got to find it internally to be ready to go at 7. You can't wait till 7:25, 7:30 to put on and finally strap up and be ready to play. And we struggled to get moving early.
Well, every coach I talk to, especially when they're on the road, that's the first thing they say. We got to get off the bus ready to play. We got to come out and be ready to go, and that's a big thing.
Absolutely. And I think, like I said, I think that as coaches, we can try to put them in a situation where everything's a routine and everything's the same pregame time and everything's the same this. As soon as we get there, and we got there, we left early with the anticipation we might get, some traffic or whatever. And we had plenty of time. It's not like we had to sprint off the bus. I mean, we told them in the locker room, hey, this is how much time you got. Start motivating yourself, start locking in. And I think, like I said, that's something that's got to be a little bit internal with our guys, is they got to find a way to, self motivate themselves and self prepare themselves to be ready to go right at 7.
Totally different offense. I mean, Columbia City's not going to throw the ball. They're just going to come at you. They're going to put hat on hat and just play that way with you. I mean, what kind of problems did that pose to you last night?
Well, I mean, actually, they threw the ball way more last night than I thought they would, which I think is a great thing for our defense. I mean, they had, I think total in the Northwood game, they had only like 5 pass attempts. And I believe in the first quarter, they had 5 pass attempts against us. So I think 2 things. I think they were, wanting to work on their passing game, maybe for the intention of they needed to work on it because they haven't worked on it. But also, I felt like our run defense was pretty solid early on. I mean, I really did. I think they ran, again, looking back at week 1, they ran probably 3 run plays and just said, hey, we're going to beat you with these 3 plays. And again, I think by halftime they had run every run play every run play we've seen against them in the last 3 years. Just different variations of everything. And I think our defense, again, was giving them some fits. I mean, they had we had 1 or 2 missed coverages, and but for the most part, again, I think our defense was giving them fits and at least making them earn every single yard that they were attempting to earn.
Offensively, how do you feel about where you're at? I mean, 13 points is better than a week ago, but I'm sure there's some coaching points.
Yeah, I mean, we were 8 of 11 throwing the ball, so we only had 3 incomplete passes. Now, total yards, we were under 75 total passing yards, which is not ideal. And we ran the ball for 160 some odd yards. So as a team, I think Finn had over 100 yards himself. And so I think there are some pieces, but again, I think it's the same thing. I feel like a broken record. It's the same thing we talked about last week, is stacking a couple good plays together. We first play of the game, we rip off for, 8 yards, 10 yards or whatever that was, first down. We're like, heck yeah. And then I think the next 2 plays, we had a misassignment and just a missed down block. And now we're at third and 7, and I think that, so it's the anticipation, or not even anticipation. It's just the mindset that we've got to put a couple positive plays in a row to continue to move the ball. A negative play is going to happen. Or a loss of 1 or a gain of 0 or something of that is going to happen in the game of football, right? At some point, the defense is going to guess right. At some point, the offense isn't going to execute. Like that's football. So when that happens, we got to have the short-term memory of that play is over, and let's be ready for the next play. And I think we're getting so bent out of shape that our one bad play, and then it starts to snowball. Then there's 2 to 3 bad plays, and then we're punting the ball. So it was kind of what I challenged him at the end of the game, in the end zone there, was just, it's going to happen. A negative play or something that doesn't go our way is going to happen at some point in the game of football, and multiple times usually. How do you respond? How are you going to put it on hey, you know what? I messed up, or even whoever it is, hey, take the ownership and then say, hey, the next play is not going to happen again. And I think once we get to that point, we will start to move the ball. I think we've got the right guys. I think we've got the right scheme. I mean, we're not putting in, quadruple, triple option or anything crazy like that. It's zone and power, and I think our guys, it's the same offense we've been running for 4 years, so they're familiar with it. I think there's just, again, I think there's a lack of confidence or execution in multiple plays in a row. And we were talking last night as a coaching staff, like what is the disconnect, and how are we gonna dive into it?
What I'm hearing is that most of your problems are mental and not necessarily physical or a lack of knowing what to do. It's just that mental side of it, of mental toughness and things like that.
Yeah, I mean that's sports in general, right? I think
Yeah.
you talk any sport, you want to tell me that there's not a mental side of it. I think you're crazy. I mean, even in the game of football where it's two guys mano a mano for the most part, you got one guy against one guy, and it's me versus you for the most part. There's still a ton of mental game inside of football, and again, I think like I said, there's a disconnect somewhere that the game. I mean, because again, the week of practice, we're stepping the right direction, we're doing the right things, and then we get to the game film or the practice film we're watching, and well, why did we step this direction instead? Well, I assumed that he was going to do this, and I think we're thinking too much. That's the mental side. Like, just trust your steps, trust that there'll be a guy there, trust that this is going to be the same thing, and then if it's not, then react, right? I know Coach Yelovich is a huge with the offensive line. The first step and the first thing the offensive line does is an action. And then as soon as that action starts, the defense then, reacts, right? Like that's a typical game of football. Action, reaction.
Yeah.
And then the offensive line has to then act again, because based on what the defense's reaction was to our first action, our next action has to be something to overcome that, and then it's this constant back and forth of an action reaction. And that's football in a nutshell, right? Every time I do something, you're going to react to it. And then I have to figure out, after you react, what am I going to do to act again? And I think there's some sort of disconnect of that second action. We're acting, and then they're reacting to what we're doing, and then we're not able to fulfill that third or that second action step. So again, I don't know what. Again, I think we go back to the mental side of it, and that's where it's at.
Yeah, that's tough too, because basically you've got to do all that action reaction without thinking about it. Because if you stop and think about it, then you slow down enough that
all that happens. All those action reaction action happens in probably a matter of 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds, right? I mean, and that's why the game of football is tough, And I think there's like I said, the mental side of not only the preparation, but again, a single football play lasts 6 seconds, 7 seconds on average, right? I think that's what they say. And then you've got about 30 seconds between each place. So you've got a less than, in a minute, you're having 2 offensive plays, and you're having, potentially 2 rest plays between that, all in a minute. And these kids are 15, 16, 17 years old, and, just passed their driver's permit test, right? Like, just so I get it, right? I get that we're not coaching collegiate level players, but I feel like we're also not, putting in some crazy wishbone triple option, something that we've never run before. So there's a little bit of give and take. I think, like I said, I think what we're doing is the right thing. We got to get to the bottom of the mental side of football here, and try to figure out where the disconnect is.
Yeah, that's whenever they start complaining about, why are we doing so many reps on this? That's why, son. So you can do it without thinking about it. You see it and you just react to it.
I think that's the old KISS model, right?
Yeah.
Keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Keep it so simple that it seems mundane and stupid, but that is what we've given. I mean, again, I was down in Indy time this week with our offensive line. We rep the same play, I think 6 times in a row. And we gave him different looks. Potentially he could be here, potentially could be here. But if you trust your steps, you're going to find somebody with an ugly colored jersey, put your hands on them, and then we'll move them. So, but again, I think there's like I said, keep going back to it. There'll be a good conversation this week about just the mental side of football, and maybe it's less, beating each other up on the boards and things like that. And we've got to go sit down in a quiet room and talk about some things that are, again, mental side of football.
And you just used the word I hear so many coaches use. A lot of basketball coaches use it all the time, is trust. You got to trust your steps, trust your teammates, trust they're going to be where they're supposed to be. And that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, I think that's half the battle. I mean, that's more than half the battle in football, right? You got to have 11 guys with the same goal in mind. They're going to guy. I mean, offensive line. Keep going back to the offensive line, right? Because I think that's just what we're kind of on the game planning. But you talk defense too. If my left guard is going to step left to block the guy on his left, and there's a guy on his right, he's got to trust that the guy on his right is going to step with him. You know, and if there's that disconnect of trust, then yeah, there's lapses that they don't, because again, he's going to hesitate and not step the way he wants to step, or hesitate and be concerned that, well, maybe if it maybe, or I assume he's going to do this, but maybe he won't. And then yeah, then we get into that mental side of distrust and not being on the same page.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time. Before I let you go, let's talk about next week.
Yeah.
Northridge. I mean, you know, you're on the road again. Another long road trip up there is
Yeah.
always difficult to win a football game. And, you know, they come in at 0-2, and they're going to be just angry. So it's going to be a tough week.
Yeah, I mean, 0-2 versus 0-2. Someone's going to get their first win. I mean, they've played two really talented teams, you know, in Fort Wayne Northside and Elkhart. I mean, those are probably the better athletic teams in our area for sure. And they weren't blown out by any means. I mean, they only lost by, I think, 10. It was 17-7 last night against Elkhart. And the Northside score, I felt like, was pretty close. So I think, yeah, they're gonna be ready to go, and they're gonna be ready to play. And it's always tough to play up there. I mean, it's a spectacle. I mean, they do a good job of making their home environments fun and get the crowd involved and get the student section involved. And you know, I don't know if it's their senior night or any of that kind of stuff. I haven't heard yet, but you know, we said last night at the game, I said it's time for conference play, guys. I said there's no our non-conference is over. You know, this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, you guys, this season will go as you want it to go. You know, we'll be here, the coaches will be here, but ultimately it's in your hands. You know, how do you want this season to go? And kind of an early season, you know, you feel like you get to the mid-season mark, it's a turning point of how we want the rest of the season to go. But I mean, this is early on. I feel like this is one of our big turning points. We played them last year, and we let this one get away last year on us. So I think our guys are definitely hungry and ready to go and get against them again.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. And we'll be in touch later this week. Good luck to you next week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Rusty.
It's Plymouth head coach Adam Handley. And stay there. We're going to talk with a little volleyball coming up in a moment. Actually, Koss is going to join us to talk about the Lady Pilgrims Powerball today. So we'll be right back.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
Absolute Plumbing, Heating, Cooling of Plymouth has become one of the leading service companies in northern Indiana, serving Marshall, Stark, St. Joe, Fulton, LaPorte, Elkhart, and Kosciuszko County since 2014. They specialize in residential, commercial plumbing, heating, and cooling services. They also handle drain cleaning, water heater repair, commercial refrigeration, furnaces, generators, and much more. And they're the area's only York brand dealer. That's why Michiana has made Absolute Heating and Cooling their one-stop shop for service needs. Locally owned and operated with over 20 years of experience in the trade. Visit their website at absolutephc.com for complete service information. Absolute Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, the area's top York brand dealer. McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
And Ashley Koss, head coach of the volleyball team, Plymouth High School, joins us here in this segment. Wanted to get a hold of you because I know this is just a huge week for you guys, and always has been Powerball week. But I want to start out talking a little bit maybe about you. This is your first. You're not new to volleyball. You're not new to Plymouth. You're not new to this stuff. But, first year with you having the responsibility as the head coach, I mean, what has that been like? Has it been a really good transition for you?
Yeah. So I think that having a sport is super special because you have summer to really hone in on things and prepare and, just get better. So I know the other sports get to do that too, but I think it's just special coming right off of summer and going straight into your sport. So that's been awesome. The girls have been at it for a long time. So even though our season just started, it feels like we've been playing for a while. But it's been super fun. It's great to have coaching staff fully there now. It's been.
Talk about the kind of season it's been, because it looks like, I've only had the scores and things come across, but you have some nights where you look unbeatable and other nights where maybe not so much. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So this was a rougher one for us. Last week we had 3 matches right in a row. Very good teams. We start off with LaPorte, and it's a home opener. I mean, after playing Rochester that weekend, but it's an opener for us to really just, go and get it and show people who we're going to be for this season. And I mean, LaPorte's historically a great team, but it was hard. We're still trying to figure some things out. We're ironing out those details, working on, being consistent with our discipline and that kind of thing. So that one didn't fall our way. But then the next night we turn around and it's like, okay, guys, hey, we don't have a prize, so here's your pep talk. Let's get out there. And it was fun. It was so fun. We saw some really good things happen on the court, and we were able to take Valley down, who we get to see at Powerball this weekend. That's also just a little chaotic too, Hey, coming for blood now. And then the next we travel to South Bend St. Joe, and again, we have to battle. We get in 4 sets and, we're feeling really good. JV has a tournament over the weekend, so all of us coaches are in volleyball all day Saturday. The girls are popping in and out and being helpful and, just trying to build our program as one unit.
Yeah.
And then we go into this week, and we know it's going to be tough playing Mishawaka Marion. And we invite the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade volleyball teams to come and count and kind of do like a little youth intro night to pull more people, more fans. And our JV goes to B, and they're fighting hard, and we're like, okay, come on. He steps on the court, and things just start not really going our way. We just had some little breakdowns that just led to us going down 2-0. And if you know a whole volleyball, we call it a sweep if you get 3-0.
Yep.
We call it a reverse sweep if you lose the first 2 and then take the next 3. So, excuse me. My voice went probably from all my yelling. Positive yelling, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
But so, I pull the girls and I'm like, okay, we're going to try something different. We're just going to walk away from our bench first. So we go to that little cove. I'm just like, you guys, this is going to be so fun when we reverse sweep this team but we have that ability. And I tell them all the time, I believe in them so much. And I just need them to believe in themselves as much as I do and our whole coaching staff does. We come out firing, and we're able to get to that 5th set. That one didn't go our way either, but there's a lot of times that you look at a team, and if they're down 2-0, they're just going to flatline and see you later, get on the bus or whatever is going to happen. And we do that on Tuesday night. And so fun, right? We're off of that. We're like, yes, let's go. Then we go to Concord and dang it.
Yeah.
Dang it. I wish we could get it back. I want to say a series of fortunate events, but we just were lacking discipline. It was just so frustrating. But, we can take that. We can take that adversity and we can turn it into something beautiful. We can keep rolling with the same bad things, right? So had a great practice going into Powerball, and we're looking good. I feel about it. We're ready to try some different things if we need to. We're calling on seniors for just a little bit more out of them on the court and off the court, just leading, a little bit more. We keep talking about you guys have the potential, but we have to stop being just potential.
Yeah.
And I'm very hopeful that we can do that at Powerball.
I was going to say the score that caught me, that kind of, in my mind, it says more about you guys than any of the other ones, is the Marion score, is the fact that, you put it in there. You could flatline. You're down 2-0. Nobody expects you to do anything here. You didn't do that. I mean, you came back and made them worry about it after being way ahead. So, that says a lot to me about where you're headed.
For sure. And I mean, I think even with that, when you look at those scores, that set 1 and set 2, it's a couple points. Yeah. It's really just a couple more balls hit in, a couple more good digs, a couple more of those scrappy plays that take us from having a loss and getting that win. We're there. We have that potential. And I think what's disappointing is we didn't show that at Concord. But we can't settle with that, and we can't put our heads on it. We got to move forward and we got to move on.
You got some really good players, too. I mean, some athletic girls. I'm thinking Jersey Hunter obviously comes to mind as, pretty much anything she does, she's outstanding at. You got Eva Sheedy. You've got Olivia Ringer's having a nice year for you. I mean, talk about your girls a little bit.
Yeah, it's been so fun. So I got to help out. I think it was summer of 2023. So they would have been maybe sophomores. The senior class would have been sophomores. And so I got to get in the gym and, see them a little bit. But where they're at now compared to then, it's just so fun to see how much they've grown. School volleyball and from club. Like, those girls put a lot of time into getting reps in the off season. Olivia Ringer's going to Fort Wayne for club, and she's just putting so mumuch time in. She loves it. She's always asking questions. She's always like, Coach, what can I do here? How can I do this better? Can I get more reps? Like, they just, she's such a great kid. She loves it. But so many of them are like that. Yeah. We have Eva that can pound the ball when we can get it to her. Has been serve receiving extremely well in that aspect. And just, can be a great leader for our team. And her and I talked about that a little bit yesterday. I was like, hey, I know you were a little bit off, but like, here's the ways that you can still lead. Because when she is on, she is unstoppable. Yeah. And we're going to keep tapping into that as much as we can. And then, Jersey. I mean, she came off of not getting to play last year. So it's funny because, we start at the beginning of summer. Well, the kid's going to go to state to run and do her hurdles. And so all I'm thinking about is, okay, please don't hurt yourself at state. Like, just please don't hurt yourself for volleyball season, right? Like, hey, I want you to succeed, but do not get hurt. And she walks in the gym, and that first day being back, like, there's just a smile beaming on her face, and she's so excited to be, in a team sport. Like, those other sports are great. They have that team effect for sure, but there's that individual pressure too. You're scoring points for your team, but it's more individual than what it is on the volleyball court. And so just getting to see her, digging a hard ball and chasing down other balls, getting kills, like, there's been like watching her get a good kill where she knows she was a little bit sneaky and she just brings both fists together and she's like, yeah. So that's been fun. I mean, our other seniors as well. Emmeline's been doing a great job. Her serve receive's been very strong for us. And then Catherine, she's running extra reps all the time, working really hard as well. And that bleeds down into our junior class, and then our sophomores and our freshmen. They're able to see how badly those girls like it and how hard they're working, and then they're doing the same thing.
Let's talk about your day-to-day. I mean, by the time we play this on Saturday morning, you probably have already started over there. Powerball, it's going to be at the junior high. This is just a lot of teams look forward to this matchup because it gives you a really good early season measuring stick of where you're at, because you don't have a break in this. These are a lot of really some of the best teams, at least in the area, if not in the state, show up for this on Saturday, and it becomes a really big test.
Yeah, so we get to take Tibby Valley again, and again they're coming for blood. They're going to want that game, but a solid team. So I believe we start off with them at 9 a.m. And then the other teams in our pool, we're going to play Valpo, who's a solid team. Morgan Township, don't know a whole lot about them, but I mean, I think they have a pretty good program as well. And then the other pool has Warsaw and Chesterton and Penn and New Prairie. So I'm sure Warsaw's out for blood. They lost in 5 against Penn this week, so I'm sure they'll be ready for that. And then when we get to do those crossover matchups, we know we have a good team that we get to play. So
it's a lot of cupcakes in that field there.
Oh yeah, just a walk in the park, a nice simple one, a little stroll.
But I probably feel the same way you would if in this situation, you got to know where you're at, so you know how to get where you want to go, and to play some of the best is the best way to show you where you're at.
Yeah, and I think especially coming off of this week, having those highs and those lows, getting the chance to continue to play good, solid volleyball against solid teams is only going to help us continue to grow. And that's what we want to do.
Well, Coach, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. And if you don't mind, we'll probably catch up with you a few times over here as the year goes on and find out how you guys are doing.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
That is Ashley Koss, head coach of volleyball, Plymouth, and stay there.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And welcome back. It's a little after 8 o'clock here on a Saturday morning. The Max 98.3 Coaches Show. Jeff Kaiser of LaVille joins us. I get the feeling that game last night was every bit what I thought it was going to be. I'm sure you thought it was going to be just a battle.
Yeah, I mean, it's been tradition where, anytime we line up against North Judson, it's war, and it didn't disappoint in that aspect at all for people watching the game. But you get off to a slow start against a quality opponent, and then on top of that, being on the road, you can't expect to play 36 minutes when there's 48 minutes in the game, and I felt like that was definitely something that is concerning for us.
And I talked with Adam Handley a little earlier this morning, and he made the same kind of a comment. If you don't get off the bus ready to play, especially when you're on the road, you got to be ready to play that first snap, and if not, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, I heard Coach Handley a little bit ago, and it was mirroring exactly what I can almost word for word what he's saying. And it's really disappointing because we come off a nice win. We're going to test one of the top teams in 1A, and big rival game, and our kids, I was concerned, and I let the kids know before we took the field. We're flat, and after the game, talked to the coaches and our staff, and we're just like, maybe we need to ask the guys, well, did we do something we shouldn't have done, or is there something we should do? We got to figure that out because we got some big road games, and if you want to have any success, you gotta be ready to start the game, and so I was disappointed in that aspect for sure. You don't come out to play, and Judson takes the opening kickoff back for a touchdown, and like, oh, here we go. It's 8 seconds into the game, and we're down, on the road, and then we get the ball, didn't have a great return. 2-3 plays later, we throw a pick, give them a short field, they have 25 yards, and they're going to score again, and against that offense, man, your backs are against the wall. So before we knew it, about 5 minutes into the game, we're down 14-0.
Yeah, I saw this story. It's got to make you feel at least a little better that you did fight back and get back into that game in the second half.
Well, yeah, and actually, it started in the second quarter. That's what's they flipped the switch, and I'm proud of them for that. They played with a lot of heart. They could have laid over and let Judson score 50, which they're fully capable of doing. And so we did. We got ourselves in a hole, 14-0. And then from then on, we outscored 14-7 the rest of the game. And there was some good battles, there was some good challenges. We just didn't really necessarily get in a rhythm on offense, and we kind of relied on that big play, and we can't do that, and that's something offensively we have to shore up. We get on the board with a 76-yard touchdown reception, Connor Amore, big play, cut the game 14-7, and started getting some momentum our way, and we had some nice defensive stops. I felt the defense played pretty well. That's a tough offense to defend, and they run it well, and our guys early on weren't playing assignment football on stuff we worked on all week, and then you keep hounding them and telling them, please just trust what we've taught you guys to do and what your keys are. And then once they started doing that, and then we made an adjustment off of that, because you can't make an adjustment when you're not playing assignment football. So then when we started playing assignment football, I could adjust some guys, and we did, and we gave Judson some fits. We had I think 3 or 4 fourth down stops through the game, which are huge. Some of those were deep in our own territory, which when you get those, it's great. You stop the drive, you're getting the ball back, and try your defense. But then Coach Roseland, the offensive coordinator, puts him in a situation. Okay, we're on our own 12, we're on our own 10. I got to limit what I can call here, So we had bad field position, throughout the game, and which kind of backed us up a little bit. But defensively, I felt like once we made some adjustments, we gave them some fits, and they got a couple penalties to shot themselves in the foot, which is okay. We'll take them, Yeah. But we got them behind the sticks one time. They made a great play on a pass play. And I challenged the guys all week. If we get them to start putting the ball in the air, we're doing something right. So it's just one of those give and take things. And come out second half, and we guys were spirited up, and we started moving the ball a little bit, and we shot ourselves in the foot. Judson got the ball back. They started moving the ball a little bit on us. We clamped down. Something Coach Lambert traditionally has never done. He lined up for a field goal, which I thought for sure potentially would be a fake. It was, it's 21-7 at that point, and I think he's at like the 15-yard line, and sitting back and thinking about it, it's a tribute to our defense and what we were doing, because fourth and 4, 4th and 5, that option team's going to come out and they're going to roll up sleeves and they're going to get that 5 yards, and he lined up for the field goal. We blocked it, and again, Connor Amore scooped it and went 75 yards for the score. Cut it to 7, and then it was just a war from there. It was literally both sides just clamped down and physical, and just looking back, those first 12 minutes haunted me, and it's been around this game a long time, Rusty, and when your club's flat and not ready, and that's what I told the guys. I sensed it right away. So that aspect is very disappointing.
Yeah, you get to that point where you almost know them better than they know themselves, and you can see them kind of. It's not quite just going through the motions, but there's just a feel sometimes that the mind isn't on the game.
Yeah, I mean it's you're ready to play. We had a great week of practice. The guys understood schemes, understood things. And I just feel like it's one of those things where you kind of get caught in the moment, kind of deer in headlights. And it's like, take on it, guys. You can't come out in a big game like this. And sure enough, I mean, Jake opening kickoff, there it was. I mean, you've seen it, and it's like, well, what are we going to do here? We're going to lay over and let them roll on us, or we're going to wake up. And, it took us a little bit, but we woke up and we started playing the way we're capable of playing. And, we got to learn from that.
How do you feel about your offense? I mean, against that kind of a defense, because they're really stout all the time. You feel like they did a good job for you last night?
Well, it's, again, we were backed up sometimes. So, limited what we can do. Judson's defense was flying around. They had a good package put in place, blitz package. It gave us some troubles. And, it's concerning because, like I mentioned earlier, we can't just be a big play offense. We got to be able to grind out drives and continually move the sticks. And it's concerning we're not doing that consistently. It starts up front. We gotta have some talk with guys up front, make sure they're understanding things, and we got to execute. Like I said, if we rely on the big play, the conference we play, and the competition we play, we're going to be in trouble. Because we got to get some consistency, throughout the running game, and to complement the passing game back and forth. I mean, we put ourselves in a situation where we got to force the ball. Quarterback's got to force the ball, and Switch had to at times last night, and we turned the ball over 4 times, Rusty, and when you do that, you're not going to win games turning the ball over that many times.
I was going to say, if you turned it over 4 times and gave them a lead like that, that comeback becomes a little even more impressive at that point, because you don't win a lot of games with 4 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I mean, we almost overcame that. One of those turnovers was next to last play. So, we're turning the ball over and we're still in this ball game. But that's what well-coached teams that Coach Lambert does over there. They're going to find a way, and they did. And doesn't get any easier. And the biggest thing, I guess, takeaway is our guys played with heart and didn't give up, and ended up putting themselves in a position to potentially tie the game or win the game. So, after starting off, in the whole 14. So, there was definitely positives, and I let the guys know that. But, you can sit here and say we had the positive and positive and positive, and then you get losses and, or create, it's not finishing the deal. And, biggest thing I just reflect on is not getting a solid start of the game.
What do you feel X's and O's wise you got to get better at as you go on? I mean, what do you got to really do away with so that you can have the kind of season you want?
Well, it's going to start in the O-line. Like every coach is probably saying right now, that's maybe the offense is struggling a little bit. I mean, our offensive line's got to shore it up. Challenges on. Do we need to move some guys around a little bit up there? There's just not, overall consistency there. And then, we can't understand a scheme and play it solidly one week, and then the next week, okay, I understand the scheme, but now I want to be that hero and make the play instead of letting the plays happen. And trusting that guy next to him. We struggled with that a little bit last night. And once we started trusting that guy and trusting our assignment, we played it. But just truly understanding that it's a week by week process, and you can't dwell on what you've done, good or bad, and you can't pat yourselves on the back and say, okay, we're going to get it next time, because we're already starting week 3, Rusty, and it's wow, here we are.
Yeah, that is true. You got a good one next week, too. Central Noble, they have not won a game yet. They're 0-2, so they're going to be obviously wanting to get in that win column. And the good news is, though, you got it at home.
Yeah, we're back home. Hopefully we have a solid fan base like we did week one. I'm proud of the way the guys did play last night overall. But yeah, Central Noble, they're struggling. They didn't win a game last year. They're start off 0-2. So, it's a program that's struggling a little bit, maybe trying to find their true identity. Coach hasn't exchanged film yet this morning. So I know he runs spread. I may look at some things they were running last year, films last night, and, trying to X and O a little bit with that spread scheme. The thing is, it's about us. A team that's struggling at any level, if you start letting them find success, they start playing a little faster, and they start getting, luck starts getting on their side a little more, and then we get caught where, the mentality we shouldn't lose to this team, and then you start playing not to lose. It's just we got to be on a mission this week to shore up the little details, play assignment football, and do what we can do, and it should be, I know where our program level is, and it's not struggling. We lost last night. Our program's not struggling, and so we just got to make sure that the program that is continues that when they walk off our field on Friday, and we get back on the winning track.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time this morning, as always, and we'll be in touch this week to talk about that game coming up Friday.
Sounds great, Rusty. Appreciate it.
That is Coach Jeff Kaiser, the LaVille Lancers, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We got Justin Bogunia coming up from Bremen here in just a minute.
Looking for a stable career in an industry that doesn't slow down? Hoosier Racing Tire in Plymouth, Indiana is seeking motivated people who believe in quality and want to work in a safe environment. With thorough training provided for all positions, no experience needed. Second, third, and weekend shift production wages start around $20 an hour with potential at $25 an hour within a year. Quarterly bonuses, paid time off, and health insurance benefits that start on day one. Apply online at HoosierTire.com. That's HoosierTire.com. Hoosier Tire is an equal opportunity employer.
Who doesn't like pizza, right? But have you tried the pizza at Bourbon Street Pizza lately? More fresh ingredients and a new pizza sauce recipe. It's like a slice of heaven each and every time you take a bite. And now there's 16 new style of pizzas for you to choose from on the menu. And let's not forget the mouth-watering wings or their 5 different pasta dishes to choose from. Bourbon Street Pizza with area locations in Plymouth, Culver, Argus, Walkerton, Napanee, and in Bourbon. If you're looking for a quick and delicious dinner for the entire family to enjoy, look no further than a Bourbon Street Pizza location near you.
And we're back here on the Max 98.3 Coaches Show. Justin Bogunia from Bremen joins us. And I tell you what, that is a tough one last night for you guys, especially the way your defense played. They gave it everything they had.
Yeah, I thought we definitely saw improvements going into this week on the defensive side of the ball. They did a good job. And then, to lose it like that with special teams was really killer for us. Again, and then offensively too, right? I thought we improved on the offensive side of the ball too, moved and then kind of shot ourselves in the foot and just didn't finish drives.
And you're probably going to tell me to shut up from now on, but that's the thing that Joe McKee, my partner, and I thought as that game kept going on that it might come down to a special teams play that was going to be the difference in the game, and it was actually 2 of them that were the difference in the game.
Yeah, the first one, right? Like we get there, and then we're kind of in that position where, as head coach, you're looking at, and do I go for it or do I go ahead and try to pin them deep? We had enough time. I was like, let's go ahead and punt and pin them deep. The defense was playing well. Probably changes the field position a little bit, or maybe we even get a break on defense that either scores or puts us right in the red zone. So we went with that, and then obviously then they got the ball. We had a botched punt right there.
Yeah.
They got in, pressure got to him, and then he tried to scramble and lost the ball, and then and then they had the short field and then scored off of that, and then the next time they blocked the punt. So definitely punt is an area of emphasis this week.
Yeah, I would say so. And you watch this all the time, almost every year. A lot of teams struggle with that punt team early on, and they don't practice it in the scrimmage or anything like that. And you can run it as many times as you want in practice, but it's just not the same as running it again in the game.
That's right. And then sometimes you get a false sense of security when it's not ones against ones. And,
Yeah.
So I think that's the biggest part. You can't rep game reps in practice, and so then it becomes evident. Obviously, on the football field, wasn't a problem last week. Definitely was a glaring one this week.
I like your heavy package, man. That's a throwback to the old running game, the way it used to be. I'm watching Marty run that offense at Bremen for years, and it was fun to watch your guys. And you got guys that run hard.
Yeah, I thought that those guys did a good job. That running back core back there with Mosier, Parrish, and Pippinger. They all had moments there where they broke some hard runs, and then I thought again we had that miscue on the down inside the 10-yard line that kind of stalled that drive, but Mosier had a hard run down to the 1-yard line there, and then it's a putt into the end zone from there. But then it's just tightening up and fixing those problems. We had a false start, and then instead of being on the 1-yard line, we're back by the 12-yard line, and then and then we go for a field goal and miss it.
I thought you did some nice things too when you had to go to that spread package. You were able to make some things happen there late in the game, and it just seems like going on that double whammy kind of offensive thing where you can do one thing and then switch into another. That's going to pay dividends as the season goes on.
Yeah, and some of it's same thing we've been talking about. It's just reps and game reps and things being new, and then just the nuances of some of the offense for the guys that on my team again. It's first time. Everything's first time for everybody, seniors and the freshmen. So, like I said, it's getting the reps and getting the game reps, and then hopefully, we can get that double-edged sword going on offense and be able to pass and run.
I really liked your freshman too. Jake Rodriguez had a nice night for you. Made a couple of catches, and if you watched him on his routes when he was a wide receiver, he seemed like he was open all the time. And I couldn't watch him enough to see it was just he's running that good a route or he's just that fast. But then he took off on that run, and I figured, it's because he's that fast. I think he had a nice night.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's a combination of both, right? We had some nice routes in there for him, and he ran them well, and then his speed. He's a good athlete, and so we're trying to put him in a position to make him successful and bring him along. He is a freshman, and so just getting on the varsity field and getting some of that experience pay off in the long run for him, for sure.
I was really impressed with your quarterback, safety, Wildauer, Jack Wildauer. I mean, you talk about a guy, a warrior, man. He was taking hit after hit, and he just stood in there and delivered the ball. Just a gritty performance out of him. He was impressive.
Yeah, he did really. He battled in there. One of our seniors with, like I said, start.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
Hello?
I completely lost you. I don't know where you went. So
Yeah.
I think you're back now. We were talking
Yeah,
about
sorry.
Jack Wildauer.
Yeah, I just said I agree. It was a gritty performance by him, 4-year starter, and showed it. I think with his leadership and taking some big hits and then bouncing back and leading the team and showing the team that toughness, right? That I'm not going to come out of the game. I'm gonna stick in there and help lead the team. And then defensively as well, I thought he had a good night on defense. Don't know how many tackles he had, but he was coming up and supporting the run and had some key pass deflections back there in the secondary that shut down some drives.
I got to believe that one thing that you can hang your hat on a little bit is if you can find some consistency on offense and find, that identity, your defense is going to give you a chance to win games.
Yeah, I think so. And then, a little bit also, I think with the offense, it's exactly what you just said. And then the part about finish, right? That's what we'll emphasize this week is finishing drives. We did a little bit last week too, where we got some drives going and then just stalled out. And then obviously, that old cliche, that third phase, we got to get better at special teams. Field position is going to be key for us this year. And then when you play the tougher teams, that's sometimes what makes a difference.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So as you're looking forward, what are the things on your checklist that you just have to get better at?
Well, I think the glaring, definitely, again, the special teams, I'm going to repeat myself. I'd be lying if I didn't say first thing we're going to throw in is working on this punt. Some of it is technique, and then some of it might be personnel a little bit as well. So we'll look at that hard and then try to make sure, right, that was, ingrained in me, right? It's the biggest play in football. It's an 80-yard play every time. It's either 40 yards on the punt or what we had last Friday, 40 yards going the other way. So we'll definitely start with that. And then I think then improving our defense, but we saw improvements. So we'll probably get a little critical with defense on the little things, and then offense, trying to, again, establish our identity, and then I guess coaching it. I don't know. Like I started that last week, but then just carrying it over and I just wrapping it and until it's just ingrained in the kids, right? This is who we are, and this is what we do, and so that comes with reps and games. So we'll just put our head down and back to the grindstone.
That's all you can do.
Yep.
Coach Justin Bogunia with us, man. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it, and we'll be in touch later in the week about your game this week. I probably haven't had a lot of time to look at Boone Grove. What do you know about them?
Yeah, from what I've seen, looks like a spread, kind of more of a passing offense. So we'll get to play a little bit more just hardcore pass defense. LaVille, Triton mixes it up. So you're sitting there identifying all the time. Is this pass or run? Cherubusco was hardcore run. And so then play action pass. This is look to me to be more, spread pass offense. So we'll be more spread pass defense first. And so this is the first game of that. So it'll be an adjustment for our kids, and then getting our, like I said, getting our recognition and making sure kids are in the right place to start, and then attacking, going and getting the ball.
Well, man, thanks for taking time on your Sunday or Saturday again, and we'll be in touch this week.
All right, appreciate it.
Justin Bogunia, head coach at Bremen. Stay right there.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news. Some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little portion. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And we're back. Saturday morning coaches show here on Max 98.3. And we have the other half of our game of the week from last night. Andy Barker, head coach at Triton. I'm sure you're having a very pleasant cup of coffee this morning after getting that milestone under your belt last night.
Yeah, I am. That's for sure. I was telling somebody else last night, it's kind of the monkey off the back, right? Because you take over a position as a head coach, especially a first-time head coach, and I mean, at the end of the day, you're still thinking in the back of your head, do I actually know what I'm doing and have what it takes? And I don't know if that answer has been answered yet, but at least we know we can win.
And you did it in a way that was gritty, too. I mean, as that game went on, it was just two teams just slugging each other. And Landon won every once in a while, but then the other guy recovering and stopping it. I mean, it was just one of those classic games of chess that finally ended up in a special teams play.
Yeah, and quite honestly, about, I don't know, halfway through the second quarter, I had the same realization that you did. This was just going to be who is going to make less mistakes and then who is going to be able to finish on a play like, we got the ball in the short field, and Gage Riffle was able to ultimately take it in on a sweep. But, yeah, it was everything I thought it would be. I said in our pregame, it's a Marshall County team. They're going to come punch us in the mouth, and are we going to be able to respond to it? And we did.
And that's a big thing, too. I mean, it's been quite a few years since you guys beat them at home, correct?
Yeah, I was informed last night. It was 52 years.
That's what I thought.
We have beat them. Yeah. Wow. I had no idea. But I'm glad we were able to do it for the senior class. Right, they've been a really good class for a very long time, and good for them for getting that win their senior year.
I know when you had the short field there, and our player of the game was Gage Riffle, and most of it for that drive there, you could just see by his demeanor and his body language that he wanted the ball, and he was going to take care of business at that point, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, he just started feeling it and making the right reads, and he just took that on his back and put you on the board.
Yeah, I think last night, the head coach and offensive coordinator and the quarterback found their identity. I put Gage in some tough spots week one against LaVille, because I think the world's figuring out now that we're an RPO team. And some of the tags that I tagged with the run last week, we're putting him in a tough position, and he doesn't have the experience of reading that necessarily. And so this week I didn't give him nearly as many passing options, but I gave him several of the running options. And wow, what a great night he had. So yes, good for him.
He just took care. He's an athlete, and he used that athleticism, And it doesn't hurt when you got Jaden Overmeyer to hand the ball to every now and then too.
Yeah, I mean he's a huge threat. He had another really big night. When you're going one direction with him and you have to worry about him coming across Gage's face, it kind of opens up that backside, and that they were so focused on stopping Jaden that they weren't really ready for Gage, and so yeah, it helped us tremendously.
This is the first time I've seen Jaden play, and I knew he was extremely fast, but he is a load too. I mean, he can power run when he needs to.
Yeah, that was my big thing coming into this year with him specifically. We've had a couple of different one-on-one meetings, and I'm like, look, man, you're a lot stronger than you think you are, even. And because you watch him on film the last couple of years, and he was very much a bounce it outside guy. And I've been in his ear hard about go north and south, trust your strength, and even look for the cutback lane. And he's starting to even come into his own on that. I think, it's one of those things as a teenager, you're not going to believe the old guy until you do it once, and you're like, oh, wow, that does actually work. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes the best action is just sticking your foot in the ground and going forward, and looks like he's doing that.
Yeah, it's going to be, as we move forward into this season, again, I think I've said it before, it's Northern Indiana. You have to be able to run the rock, and he's going to be a really, really big part of that.
Let's talk about your offensive line a little bit too, and I know you've got some flux going on at times there. But, I started thinking about watching him play last night. Your offense is about speed. Even your linemen are fast. Their feet are good. I mean, that's going to, I got to feel meld into something you're really going to be able to do something with.
Yeah, and that's really been the focal point for probably the last 3 weeks. David Cook, our O-line coach, what a great dude. He's very intense and works as hard as I do. And so then it was about finding the right combination. And, the boys always joke now because I say speed kills all the time. And so it's become this running joke, but it really does. And now that we've gotten Colton down there and of course, Vinny here at week 2, Vinny's one of our fastest kids on the entire team. So the fact that he's down there tells you how important it is to us. So, yeah.
Talk about your defense a little bit too. I mean, what a night for them. It was just a night of defense on both sides.
Well, and that's after week 1. And after week 1, we had a good defensive showing. We gave up at least 14 points on turnovers to LaVille. And so there's half of your deficit. But we really spent quite a bit of time this week on the defensive side of it. And, man, it showed last night. It was just one hit after another. And yeah, we were able to come out on the right side of it.
Seems like that's the best part of your defense as well, is the speed.
Yeah, and that's, when I think I said it last night in one of the interviews, I put Jaden at defensive end, and now the defensive coordinator has kept him there. And that was a tough sell. I even had to sell it to him. And I think I'm still selling it to his dad, but he's so fast and so powerful off the one side. And then when you put Vinny Prater on the other side, you have to, as an offense, you have to try to get going, and you have to find generally a side that you think you're able to expose. And when you have that kind of speed, that kind of power sitting on each edge, that's tough to deal with, especially in 1A size programs that we're getting ready to start dealing with.
Do you feel like you've kind of turned a corner? I mean, it looked like things were really starting to click, really on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have. I think what we're finding is our true identity. I had an idea of what I thought our identity should be. And then after week one, it's like, we're on the right path, but we're not there. And I think this week 2 has allowed us to see both offensively and defensively, this is it. This is what we're going to be. And now it's about tweaking it and making it where offensively, our backfield feels comfortable with what we're calling. And then defensively, we're kind of set into how we're going to roll into different things and where we're going to come off of and or twists and whatnot. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think we found our identity.
Talk a little bit about the things that you feel you got to get better at if you're going to have the season you want.
Well, I think the very first thing is our discipline. For whatever reason, the penalty situation between week 1 and week 2 compared to the other team has been significantly lopsided. And some of that is, we got to take ownership of that. I joked last night on the headset, because you can always joke when you're winning, right? I'm like, you would think, given what I do for a living, we would be a lot more disciplined team. But for whatever reason, just some of these little things, we really need to shore up. The holding, we had a late hit out of bounds. That's not in our character. And so, we got to, if we can clean that up, along with taking care of the ball, we will be really, really good.
What's going to be the how do you feel about your kids? I mean, mentally, this has really got to be a big lift for them.
Yeah, massive. I think anytime you lose week 1 to a team that we had pretty much handled the previous year, people start to talk and rumors start to fly, even at Triton. And so, the questions come out whether we're going to be what we thought we'd be or not. And so, yeah, when you can stand up to a solid 2A program at home, and come out with a win. Yeah, I think, in the senior class, especially, they're used to winning. They've won a lot in their lives. And so, to get that under their belt, I think was really, really big for their mentality.
I was going to say, too, you got an interesting Gatorade bath last night. The guys that were bringing that up there, I don't think anybody was going to stop them. It was just one of those interesting moments.
I had to make a business decision at that point in time, because it was my boss was one of them. And I knew something was up, because in the headset, one of the guys said that Steve Watkins needed to go down and talk to our principal. And I was like, well, that's weird. And then I look over and I see my trooper buddies, and they just got a look. And I'm like, well, you're right. You're not going to hide, because you got the funny hats on and the Class A uniform. It's like, so then when Steve came over and asked for my headset, and I'm like, oh man, here we go. And sure enough, they got me. It was really cool, man. I texted Mick last night and I said, hey man, thank you for the support. I appreciate everything you guys have done and coming out and being there. And I think even the boys thought it was pretty cool, because somebody sent me a video and they were high-fiving the troopers afterwards. So yeah, pretty good. It was a lot colder than I thought it'd be too.
Well, good thing you're not older than you are, simply because that cold bath is kind of a shock.
Yeah, I will admit that's the first one I've ever had in that kind of fashion. So yeah, it was cold.
Well, I'm sure you'll be happy to take another one here as the year goes on too. It probably wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, if we keep doing that, I'll get cold.
Well, man, thanks for taking the time this morning, and go enjoy it, and get back to work here in just a few minutes probably, and we'll be back in touch this week.
Will do. Thanks, Rusty. I appreciate you.
That is Andy Barker, head coach at Triton, and we will be right back.
McDonald's restaurants in Plymouth and Bremen, Indiana are now owned and operated by local residents Bill and Flo Bolt. Bolt Enterprises are proud to own and operate all 4 McDonald's restaurants in Marshall County. Become part of the McDonald's family today with Bolt Enterprises McDonald's.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
And we're back. It's 8:43 on a Saturday morning. Max 98.3 Coaches Show. Ron Brown joins us, the head coach of the John Glenn Falcons. A loss last night, but I'm sure there's a lot of things you feel pretty good about.
I mean, yeah, definitely. We weren't able to get it done, but our kids battled the whole entire game. We had multiple opportunities to retake the lead, and we just weren't able to execute it. And that has to do with the excellent effort that Fairfield put forth, and they won the trenches, and therefore they won the game.
I was going to say that was completely undecided heading to the last 12 minutes. I mean, you guys are right there head to head.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the ability to score really quick, and so when we got the ball back, we went ahead and threw a dagger and went back up, and then we weren't able to get our defense off the field. And I haven't went back and counted how long the drive was, but it may have been a 21 play drive that they came back down and scored on. And so kudos to them. High school kids being able to do that many plays in a row and score without, having a penalty or whatever. That's a great job. And they're the better team last night.
You had a great offensive performance last week. Not quite as much this week, but 20 is a good number. You're going to win a lot of games with 20 points. And, another good, solid offensive performance.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, it took us a few series to get going. We're still trying to get our momentum, our groove, and get used to some different things. And that's what is going to happen. A lot of times coaches say the biggest jump is from week 1 to week 2. And so, that's going to happen. And you really don't know the team that you have until you hit week 3. And so we're looking to improve on the mistakes that we made. And, there are good things that happened last night. I was talking with my coaches this morning, and last year we had, one touchdown pass the whole year receiving, and we already have 4 this year. So, that's a positive. There's some good things happening. We just need to use our opportunities to get our team to improve.
I was going to say the thing that I'm looking at number-wise is the balance. It seems like you can run and pass just as effectively.
Yeah, our offensive line is good. When we understand what's coming at us and how we need to block it. We have good runners and good receivers, and our quarterback makes good decisions. That's what you want to see. And the kids are competing. So these are all good, positive things.
Talk about the things that maybe you didn't like last night. Some things that you really think you got to get better at.
Well, we had a hard time resetting the line of scrimmage last night against their big offensive line. And I think that was a lot of our issue. We would get them in, and 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, 3rd and and it was manageable situations for them, and we weren't able to put them in a negative outcome on early downs, and so that allowed them to stay on the field longer than we wanted. But even with that said, we were able to turn them over twice, and so that gave us an opportunity to try to go up. And, those, again, are positive things. We have kids that are playing hard. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Again, we just lost to a very solid team last night.
Obviously, I think Fairfield, when we talked earlier in the week, he said they were big and strong. They were going to try to run the football. Week one, you had Boone Grove that wanted to spread the field, make you defend it all, and throw it around a lot. Does having to change your defensive scheme every week become tiring? Because that's got to be a lot for kids to digest in just a 2-week span.
I mean, I think it's more about matchups, and I think it's more about technique. And so there's different technique and different personnel groupings that you use for those two different offensive schemes. And so, they won that matchup last night, and it's going to be different every week, and you have to see where their strengths are. And their fullback did a great job of being patient, using those big guys up front to pop out and get yards. And again, they didn't turn the ball over, a ton of times. And so it was the close game like we thought it was going to be against a good competitive team.
Talk about your mental state now, too. You're 1-1. How do you feel where your guys are at right now?
I mean, we're dealing with high school kids, and so you have to help them understand the mindset. And so our coaching staff, our mindset is, let's be better next week than we were this week, and let's keep progressing. The early part of the season, especially when it's non-conference games, needs to be used to see where you're at and see what you need to improve upon. Season's not over. It's still a nice long season. We didn't have any major injuries last night, so we're still all intact with the team that we have. And so we just need to get the kids refocused, get them ready for a really, really good Rensselaer team that's had a coaching staff there that's been there for a very long time, and a head coach there that's been there. I don't know if it's 23 years or 29 years. It's one of the two. And so, at any rate, they're a school that has a historically strong football program, and the community really likes football out there, and they have a lot of really good kids. They're senior loaded, and I expect them to be ready to go and looking to take us out, and it'll be a nice long drive all the way down there. So that'll be something new that the kids also have to get used to and be aware of, so that they can, handle that ride in the bus. So a lot of this stuff comes down to the mindset in the mental part of the game. And so if we can work on that, and we can get our kids to come back down to earth and to put things into perspective, I think we'll be just fine.
Let's talk about them a little bit because, like you said, traditionally, Coach Meeks, he's been there for a long time. He's won almost 200 games. They're 2-0, and they're averaging 40 points a game. So, they're going to be a handful.
Yeah, absolutely. They're a really good ball squad. They've been a really good ball squad for many, many years. And so we're going to have to scheme for them. We're going to have a solid offensive and defensive plan, and we're going to have to come out ready to go. And again, it's going to come down to, can we win the line of scrimmage? Can we reset the line of scrimmage offensively and defensively? And if you can, now you're giving yourself a chance to be successful.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us again this morning, and we'll be in touch later in the week to talk about a little more in depth about Rensselaer Central. But good luck to you in the week of practice, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
That is Ron Brown, the head football coach at John Glenn. And stay there. Coming up in a moment, we're going to hear from Lance Grubbs, who's the AD at Bremen, talk about some of the other sports going on at Bremen. And we're also going to hear from Sara Sahlhoff, who's our first Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week award winner. Had a chance to sit down and talk with her a little this week, too. So stay there.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big B coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
There you go. And Justin Grubbs joins us in this segment, athletic director at Bremen. And, they've been kind enough to allow me some time to talk with the athletic directors at the schools that we cover, talk about some of the other sports going on around the fall. Thanks for stepping in and agreeing to do that with us. And you got a lot of people off to hot starts in your fall sports.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm looking at all of our teams here, and man, such a good week this week too.
Yeah. Well, your volleyball team, let's start with them. They're unbeaten. I mean, that's an accomplishment.
Oh yeah. I mean, 7-0 start to the season. They've won 18 sets in a row to start the season.
Wow.
Now we have a talented group, 5 senior starters and a really talented junior starter, and they're all working really well together. And so it's exciting to see. I've been telling Coach that over this past week or two.
Your soccer teams have been really good over the past few years. I mean, sectional finals all the time and a lot of wins. And both your boys and girls teams are off to good starts.
Yeah. The boys had a good week this week. They won the consolation game on Saturday against Manchester, and then they had a big win against Valley last night. They've got some good matchups coming up next week. The girls have actually not given up a goal yet this year through the first 3 games. They have, New Prairie tomorrow, Elkhart Christian next week. Those are big ones. It's going to be a tougher test, and it'll really kind of show us where we're at. But, yeah, I can't really complain about the starts. I mean, the boys have had a tough schedule early, and they're just starting to now hit their stride.
Sounds like your girls' sports are really. I mean, your volleyball teams have been blowing through everybody. Girls haven't allowed a goal. I mean, you got a lot of talented athletes in the girls' classes.
Yeah, I mean the senior class, last year's class. I mean, there's just when you get a couple classes in a row, and then they start kind of building from there, and that leadership grows. The experience shows this year. And hopefully those younger groups are really learning a lot and picking up on it. We have some really talented freshmen and sophomores coming up, and they're going to have to take over here in these coming years.
Let's talk a little bit about a team that has some talent, maybe not as many numbers in the girls. You don't have enough for a girls cross-country team, do you?
We do.
Okay.
This year. We have enough for a team. We have a lot of inexperience. Lauren's back. Lauren's Hartzell. She's a returning veteran that did really well for us last year. But, yeah, Grace Moyer coming in as a freshman. I mean, she was just 3rd place the other day in our double duel with Plymouth, Fairfield, and Glenn. And, she's just a freshman and just doing amazing, leading our pack here lately. And she's got great future ahead of her.
I was going to say, Grace is the one who's caught my attention. She seems to be, getting a ribbon or a medal in almost everything they've done this year and has really had some great times.
Yes, definitely. And then on the boys' side, I mean, they've done really well. They actually won first place as a team in that same event. And Ben Brady, Joseph Davis. I mean, who knows day to day who's going to win between those guys? We have a really strong boys group on top of that.
I was going to say, you've got 3, 4, 5 guys that, once again, early on, there's a lot of those mass meets where you've got however many people. You got a lot of medalists, a lot of guys bringing ribbons home in that boys cross country team.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were really good last year, conference champions and everything, and I fully expect them to be competing for that this year. We have the Big Nursey Invitational coming up Tuesday with 15, 16 schools or so, depending on who all shows up. But, we have a good chance of winning that again this year.
I was going to say, talk about that a little bit, because that's a big meet. You said 15, 16 schools coming in. That's got to be a lot to coordinate. But, I mean, that's a highlight of the year for your team as well as probably several others.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, we look forward to hosting every year. I know our coaches and our kids love it. I mean, there's a variety of levels of schools there. I mean, we do have some 3As coming. I mean, in Valley, Glen, Jimtown, Knox is a good-sized school for 2A. But there's also some 1A schools. And, we try to make it an opportunity where it's a very competitive event where you're not having those, really large schools there. And so I think they appreciate that, And some of these small schools have some really talented, individual runners that challenge each other, the small Christian schools and things like that. So we have a couple home schools that'll be there. Argus will be joining us. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's the thing about cross country, I think. You look around the county and some teams, the smaller schools, they don't have enough people to put a team on the field, but they still have some great runners, and they get out there and let them compete. And I think that's the good thing about the sport. It doesn't cost a lot. You can just go out there and let your folks have a chance to show what they can do individually.
Yeah. I mean, and we have a great course for it with the woods there. We have Morris Riddle come over and time for us, and we have a great group of officials that we always hire back if possible, and just an exciting event for the kids and prepares them for some of those other invites that they're going to have later on, and sectional, conference, things like that.
I don't know if I've ever been to your course. Where have you got it laid out over there?
Okay, yeah, over there, James Park, down on Woody's Lane on the east side of town.
Yeah,
out there where the soccer fields are. Yeah, so back there, kind of in the back, we have a really nice outdoor setting, and we've been lucky to be able to share with the parks department, and rent from them and lease it out, and yeah, it's great space for us.
Every one of those cross country courses is different. I actually, one time, somebody walked me through the one at New Prairie because it's supposed to be one of the best in the state, and CMA has a legendary course. I mean, so. But every one of them is different, too. Everyone challenges you in a different way. I think that's a fascinating thing about the sport.
Yeah. I mean, and we actually make, I believe, 2 trips to New Prairie because we like it so much.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to go to Oxbow for the Minuteman Invitational, so that gets us on the sectional course at least once before the season. Before sectional hits. And, yeah, our regional would actually be at New Prairie for hopefully we get some people to get up there.
Let's talk about your tennis. Talk about your tennis team a little bit. I mean, they really started hitting their stride the last week or so, picking up some good wins.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've had a 3-0 week this week with Northwood. Big win over them, 5-0. I don't know the last time we beat them 5-0. I mean, they're always a strong program and often either beat us or we're in a close match. Adams and Knox, we beat them this week. But our tennis team, 4-2 on the season. This is a big week, and we're really thinking of our coach this week, Coach Kevin Hickman. His sister passed this week, and so we're really thinking of him. The team wore blue last night, and that was really great to see the team honoring him and his sister, and just wanted to bring that up. That we're thinking of Kevin.
Yeah, I saw that they wore the blue jerseys last night. The press release came through, and whenever I see a team do that, I think it's really cool. Kind of gives the coaches and everybody a chance to reflect on, what's really important.
Yeah, definitely. This time to share some life lessons with the kids and, mentor them through some things that they're going to deal with in their lives. And, that's what coaching is all about is, what kind of difference can you make, outside of the sport. So it's great to see that.
Well, man, I want to thank you for taking the time to talk to us. And I'm sure we'll run across each other again before this year is over, at least once or twice. And thanks for bringing us up to date on some of the other stuff going on athletically at Bremen.
Yeah. I wanted to throw out one more thing.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Girls golf team.
They're
going to be participating in the conference golf tournament at Pretty Lake next Saturday. So we actually host that. Bremen does as the conference host for the golf. And so I'll be over there and I'll be able to greet anybody that wants to come by and watch some golf. So we tee off at 1:30 on September. What date is that? The 6th or whatever. Next Saturday. So.
I always forget one team. I was talking with Rodney Eunice a little bit earlier, and I completely forgot about their tennis team. So we went back and got them too.
Girl golfer with one senior, and I'm just excited to see the growth that they're starting to make. And that we had our best score of the year, this past week, and so they're just trying to get better each day, and building that experience for the future.
Yeah, that's
excited to be out there with them.
That's the one thing I've noticed in the stuff they've sent through to us. And by the way, thank you for that. I'm always glad to have all that. It's always good to keep up on it. But, the consistent growth of them, and it looks like it's going to be one of those years where you got a lot of inexperienced folks. You got a couple of girls that have never golfed before, if I'm right. And it's just going to be one of those growing years where they learn to rally around each other and just get better.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a good experience for them to try it out, see if they like it. And, hopefully that's something they carry forward through, part of their life as they get out on the golf courses later on. And just,
Yeah, that's one thing. Golf, you can play golf until you're as old and fat as I am. So, that's a life skill.
Yeah. Well, thanks a lot, Russ. I appreciate you out to us.
Well, thank you, sir. And we will be in touch as the year goes on. And thanks again. It's Justin Grubbs, the athletic director at Bremen, and we'll be right back. And stay there in just a moment. We're going to talk to Sara Sahlhoff, the first winner of our Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week Award, sponsored by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. And then once Sarah's talked to us for a few moments, we're going to name our winner for this week of that special award, sponsored by Johnson Danielson. And that's coming up right after this. When it comes to your money, you want a bank that understands you. At First Federal Savings Bank, we offer more than just a place to deposit your paycheck. We're here for you every step of your journey. Need a loan for that new dream home? We've got you covered. Looking to save for the future? Let's make it happen together. From personal banking to business banking, we offer full-service solutions tailored to your needs, online, in person, or over the phone. No matter where you are, we're with you every step of the way. First Federal Savings Bank, we don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. First Federal Savings Bank is FDIC insured and equal housing lender. NMLS number 399927.
Your morning, it deserves more than just coffee. It deserves Big B coffee. From velvety lattes to our famous sweet foam cold brews, every sip is brewed with love, laughter, and a splash of fun. All first responders and veterans receive a free brewed coffee and 20% off their entire order. Students and teachers receive 10% off with a valid school ID. Have the best day ever by stopping in to your family favorite local coffee shop where every cup comes with a smile and every day starts brighter. Stop in today and let's make it a big day. Big B Coffee, have the best day ever, located on Columbus Drive in Plymouth.
Okay.
And we're joined by our very first Tony the Boss Ross Player of the Week Award, Sara Sahlhoff. How are you, Sara?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I am fine. Want to wish you congratulations on that, but even more so on the fact that, you know, you reached a career milestone for a volleyball player. Not too many people get to. There's 1,000 digs. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct.
For some of us who aren't I've seen a lot of volleyball, but I don't understand it all completely. Digs, that's a defensive stat, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's whenever the other team attacks it overhand and you pass it up.
So that's happened a lot of times. I mean, is that something that you work on a lot?
Yeah, so it's pretty much like one of the basic, like fundamental things that you need for the game, because without a good pass, you can't have a nice set, and without a good set, you can't have an approach and a kill.
Tell me about your volleyball career. I mean, I'm assuming that you started when you were younger. When did you start playing?
I started playing volleyball when I was in sixth grade, and I played for school, and then I also do like recreational club for NEVA.
Oh, okay. So you play a lot.
Yes, I do. I play 2 seasons every year.
And so you started in the sixth grade. Was it something that, you know, coming through school, you just were waiting for a chance to play, or is it just something you thought, hey, I think I'll try it this time?
So my mom, she played, she was born in Mexico. She lived there and she played there, and she even was nationals there for her team. And so it was something that was always kind of a part of my life. And as I got older, you know, I was always playing like with my mom for fun. And then whenever like middle school came around, I was super excited to have an opportunity to play.
Hey, you finally got a chance to get out there and show what you could do.
Yeah.
Would you say that, well, do you play other sports?
Yeah, I do swimming and I do track. And I actually qualified for state this year for track.
Okay. What event in track?
It was the 4x4.
Okay. I was a swimmer, so I understand your pain there. What's your
lots of morning practices?
6 a.m. in that cold pool.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
What event do you swim?
I swim the 50 freestyle and I swim the 100 back, and then my 2 relays, the 200 medley and the 200 free.
Well, we got something in common. I swam the backstroke too. Backstroke and butterfly were mine. So.
Oh, yeah. I used to swim butterfly my freshman year, but I switched to backstroke.
I would have rather not done butterfly, but that's a long story.
I feel your pain.
So I would guess that volleyball then is your favorite.
Yeah, I would say volleyball is definitely my favorite.
What about it is what it makes you like it the most? I mean, what is it about volleyball?
It's the only team sport I do, and so I just really just appreciate like the dynamics of the girls. And I think it's so important, like you have to like build all these fundamental skills and like they just come together and you get so many touches like every rally. And especially defense, like there's just something so beautiful about it. Like just passing up a nice ball, like having those like kind of like foreseeing the play that's about to happen, and just everything about it just makes me so happy because it's just beautiful to me, like the game in general.
Well, you got to be really happy this year. You guys are still unbeaten, aren't you?
Yeah, we are 7-0.
Talk about your team. I mean, you know, this has been you guys that are seniors, you've probably been waiting for this for a while to have this kind of a year.
Yeah, so we were, most of us have been playing together since 6th grade together, but honestly, our team really came together like 8th grade year. And then freshman year. So we've all been kind of, you know, together for a while. And like every year I feel like we've definitely improved. I started at varsity my freshman year as a libero, and the other girls like on other teams. And then as we got older, we all kind of like made our way onto varsity. And then now we're here, and I feel like we just have our 6 full varsity girls, and we have like really just grown together, and we all like really just have that connection with each other. And like the fundamentals are all pretty much down, and like we still have things to work on, but I feel like we've improved so much as a team. I'm very, very excited for what our season has to come, because we already have so much like good connection and good chemistry between us.
It makes a big difference to play together for a while, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. We know each other's like tendencies. We understand like what to do when someone's playing a little off, and when someone's like really hot on hits, we know that we need to set them up, and like just kind of comforting each other and that kind of thing. It's really nice. And we're all pretty strong in our faith. So it's nice to have each other for that, to talk about that and grow in that way too.
I got to feel like a game that's that fast paced, you almost have to develop a, ability to read the mind of your fellow players on the court, know where they're going to be, and, have confidence in that. And it sounds like you guys have that.
Oh yeah, I would definitely agree. Speeding up our defense and also running slides and stuff like that, or our offense, speeding our offense up and running slides and like running back row attacks. And we also started faking this year, which is like when 2 girls go up to hit and one actually hits the ball. It really just makes like the game a lot like more fun whenever you can do those fun things that require a lot of like chemistry between the team.
There's a lot of strategy involved in the game, isn't there?
Yeah, a ton.
Do you guys feel like you're getting a handle on that part of it too? Because that can make a big difference.
I would say definitely. We know like when to switch up our defense if we have to do rotational or perimeter, and then we also know like should we hit line? Should we be taking out their setter? Do they have a donut? And like we tell each other like you have 2 blocks, you have to hit line, you have to hit cross. And I feel like we're definitely good at like reading the other team, like when like where they're on, where they're off, and everything like that. I feel like our team definitely is able to communicate a lot better too.
Talk to me about it off the court. I mean, I think you mentioned in one of your emails you're in the band as well.
Oh yeah, I am a very large band kid. So I do marching band, concert band, pep band, jazz band, pit band, and I'm the drum major for marching band. But I also march. I play trumpet, and I have a solo this year. And I've been doing all of those for about for all my years of high school.
So music is really important.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it's definitely a passion of mine.
What kind of music do you like best?
Oh, my goodness. That's a really hard question. I would say like my favorite type of band would probably be, I really enjoy jazz band because I get to play lead and there's like lots of solos or like high notes, and that's kind of fun. And then pep band is fun because you kind of just get to like just go all out and just have fun at like games and stuff like that.
When you move on out of high school, you plan on staying with sports and music both? I mean, do you have an idea maybe going on in those?
I'm hoping to play volleyball in college. I'm kind of interested in like St. Mary's. So I'm kind of going through that process. And I would love to continue with band as well. Possibly, but I'm definitely interested in doing volleyball and band both in college.
You mentioned St. Mary's. Is that where you really would like to go? Would that be your first choice?
I would say probably yes.
What are you going to study? I mean, what's your favorite subject in school, and what do you think you're going to end up doing then when you get out of college?
I really enjoyed biology whenever I took it, and so I would like to study pre-dentistry because I want to be a pediatric dentist whenever I'm older.
Really good. Well, Sara, thank you for calling me back and getting in touch with me, and congratulations on being our first athlete of the week, Tony the Boss Ross. That's a mouthful. Athlete of the week, and good luck to you the rest of the season. And we'll probably catch up again sometime later on.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. I really appreciate it.
That's Sara Sahlhoff, our first Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. So stay there. We'll be right back.
There's a trend happening around the educational world. More and more high school graduates are attending smaller community colleges to start their educational journey. At Marian University's Ancilla College, we welcome students from all walks of life. The opportunities at Marian University are endless, from living on campus to being a collegiate student athlete. From day one, your professors will help you create a plan for a success at Marian and beyond. Find out more about Marian University's Ancilla College through our website at marian.edu/Ancilla today.
And it's time to announce this week's Tony the Boss Ross Athlete of the Week. We give that honor in the name of longtime Marshall County and Max 98.3 broadcaster. Tony died suddenly a year ago, was long before his time, and it's for his legacy of dedication to the craft, unending work ethic, his devotion to the athletes and the coaches in the area is never going to be matched, and that's the legacy we try to honor each week with this award. And we'll tell you who that is this week, right after a word from our sponsor, Johnson Danielson.
Johnson Danielson Funeral Home has been established in the community of Plymouth since 1879, and its staff is committed to providing care that goes beyond the expected in serving today's families who call Marshall County their home. They welcome families seeking options and alternative ways to pay tribute to someone, from burial packages to pre-planning to planning a checklist. The professionals, along with caring staff at Johnson Danielson, are available to assist your family 24 hours a day by simply calling 574-936-2829. Visit their website at johnsondanielson.com for a complete list of services. Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. Service beyond expectation.
And this week, the honor goes to John Glenn High School and Archer Rust, the quarterback of the football team there at John Glenn. Archer will receive. Let's let you know what he did last week. A week ago, he had 92 rushing yards and a pair of touchdowns, and 92 passing yards with a pair of touchdowns. This week, he was 4 for 8 throwing the football, 103 yards, and a passing touchdown again. He also ran for 20 yards and a touchdown there as well. So great year so far for Archer Rust of John Glenn. He'll receive a certificate, a history of the award, and a T-shirt commemorating the achievement. He'll also be a guest on Saturday Morning Coach's Show next week, and he'll be eligible for our Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Year Award later this spring. That has a plaque and a college scholarship involved with that one. Compliments of Max 98.3 and, of course, Johnson Danielson Funeral Home. It's a Tony the Boss Ross Max 98.3 Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Johnson Danielson Funeral Home of Plymouth. Well, that's going to do it for this week's edition of our Saturday Morning Coaches Show. So make sure that you tune in on Thursday night, as we will have another edition of Thursday Night Lights come up for you. We'll talk to all the area coaches about their upcoming contests on Friday. And then our game of the week, Joe McKee and I will be at Culver as the Cavaliers take on Triton. Triton coming off that big win on our game of the week last week. Culver are going to try to get back in that win column, and that's Friday night. Pregame starts at 6:30 and our kickoff at 7. Once again, don't forget Thursday Night Lights, 7 o'clock, and then football Friday night here on Max 98.3. Have yourselves a great weekend, and thanks for listening.